It has a closet.
Okay, it is 7 o'clock. And it is, whatever date it is, it's October 10th, 2019. Welcome to the Planning Board. I'll entertain a motion for the agenda.
So,
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our first matter at hand is a public hearing for a special permit accessory dwelling at 15 Egypt Avenue. Front and center. Thank you. All right, if you would introduce yourselves and make your presentation, that would be great.
Sure. Good evening. My name is Jed Hannon with Atlantic Coast Engineering. I'm a professional engineer in Massachusetts. The owner of the property is Laura Steen, right here, from 15 Egypt Ave. We previously went before the ZBA, and same scenario as here. We're seeking a special permit. It's a pre-existing, non-conforming house and lot. And again, we appeared before the ZBA in May, and we got their approval. So we're here before you folks now this evening to seek the same approval for a special permit. The proposed addition is 17 foot by 22 foot, 2 stories. If you look at the site plan, the existing 10 by 14 and a half foot deck would be demolished, and then the 2-story addition would be added. There is an existing 21 by 24 driveway, and then there is also another driveway on the left-hand side along Bradford Ave for where the additional 2 spots would be. The purpose of the addition is really for an in-law, for Laura's folks to move in. Their health's kind of declining, and she's a single parent. So that's pretty much the scope of the work that we're requesting approval on for the special permit. At this point, I'll open it up to any questions you may have.
Okay, Karen?
Well, to say that the deck will be demolished, the deck has already been demolished,
Right.
and the foundation's already in for the house, so that is, that's kind of what it is right now. I went around and took pictures of the neighborhood, and there's 2 houses right in the vicinity who have basically the same.
Right, I've seen them.
The same
Been
setup,
down.
you know,
Took a ride.
a bigger portion and a
I hope your
lower
car is okay after
portion.
that ride.
You know, it is not subordinate to the primary
No, it is
dwelling.
not.
It's absolutely not subordinate, but, you know, it is under 750 square feet.
By
so-
2 feet.
Yeah, by 2 feet.
Okay.
So,
Okay. I'm looking at the existing house because the office has a closet and has a door that could be construed as a bedroom. And then on the second floor, you've got another study, which also has a closet. So you could have 2 bedrooms up there.
it's on sewer.
I know.
So, it is
So it doesn't
on
matter.
sewer. We did get a comment today from the Conservation Commission.
Right, I saw
who
that.
believes that the applicant needs to file with them, and, you know, we got the comment that it was from the Board of Health, that it was on sewer.
All right. So basically, you're doubling the size of the house, pretty much,
Slightly under.
Slightly under.
Correct.
by a little bit.
That's right, yeah.
Yep. okay.
Karen, if I could just comment, I'd forwarded you an email from Amy Walkie.
Yeah, I saw, but I'm just telling you the comment she forwarded me today,
Yep.
and so that's the comment that I passed on to the board.
Oh, understood. Yep, and I can forward you guys the email, or you can as well. Because we did our due diligence in April and asked her the question, and she said, no, it's not within the 100 BBW.
then why do we get another email that it is?
Great question.
I don't know if she actually measured it. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay. All right, comments from the board? Patty? Ben?
So is this the same plan set that went to the zoning board of appeals for the section 6 approval?
This is the updated version. But in terms of dimensions, it's the same.
It's the same exact.
The dimensions are same. but-
Dimensions are the same, yes.
So my only question is that I'm assuming the initial plans did not have a separate housekeeping unit that was an accessory dwelling unit?
Separate
Is that-
housekeeping unit?
In the initial plan, was it just an addition to the house?
Was
No.
it was an addition to the house, 2 stories. Same dimensionally.
just-
There was just some minor changes.
Yeah.
Okay, so later on, you decided to make it an accessory dwelling.
Well, it's always been an accessory dwelling.
I guess I'm just confused how a building permit was issued for.
Because the building permit drawings do not include the utilities in the kitchen right now. So once they get approval for the accessory dwelling, they'll go back and resubmit that page.
This is very similar to Garden Road. If you remember that one.
Yep. I looked at the drawings.
All right. I don't have any questions on the plan itself. It's actually more of a administrative thing on kind of order of operations stuff.
So you're just saying when it went in front of the zoning board, it didn't have an accessory dwelling?
That's what I'm asking. I don't-
No, it's always been an
It's
accessory
always,
dwelling.
yeah.
Okay.
There's just been some minor drawing edits. You asked if this is the exact same set, and the answer is no, because this updated version is August 1st, and the
Yeah.
previous set was dated April 2019.
Right,
So there were some minor edits that were made,
okay.
but dimensionally, no changes. And it was always an accessory dwelling.
All right, this is also a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public here that wants to make a comment? There's no public.
Patriots game's on.
Hmm?
The Patriots game's on.
But one of the big issues we have with accessory apartments, they're supposed to be subordinate to, not basically the same size as the primary dwelling. And so this sort of kind of stretches the envelope, if you will. But, you know, I've been down there, I've seen that everybody down there has basically
Doubled the size.
Yep.
Yeah. I will tell you, this wasn't my initial, when I bought this house, this was not my plan. But since my mother's mental health has declined, this is what's needed for my family.
I understand. I understand. And there will always be, let's say somewhere down the road, you decide that you're going to move on, things change. Whoever buys that house, if they want to rent it, it has to always be owner occupied.
Yep.
Always.
Always.
In perpetuity.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. All right, anything else from anybody? All right. You do understand our point of view in terms of,
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
Patty, do you have anything?
I move to make the following findings of fact. On September 17, 2019, Joseph Hayden, P.E., on behalf of owner Laura Steen, applied for special permit for an attached accessory dwelling on the property of 15 Egypt Ave. 2, according to the town of Scituate assessor record, the property of 15 Egypt Ave is owned by Laura Steen. 3, based on a floor plan submitted by the applicant, the floor area of the proposed accessory dwelling will be approximately 748 gross square feet. And this is 98% of the total square footage of the primary dwelling, which is 759 square feet according to the application. This size meets the requirements of 530.2F of the zoning bylaws for accessory dwelling, as the bylaw allows 750 square feet or 40% of the total square footage of the primary dwelling, whichever is greater. The accessory dwelling is not subordinate, is subordinate, what do you want to say? It's not subordinate to the existing single-family home. The accessory dwelling unit will be a complete separate housekeeping unit, and there will be only one accessory dwelling on the lot. 5, the property is in the residential R3 zoning district. The proposed attached accessory dwelling structure will be constructed on a pre-existing non-conforming lot with a non-conforming front setback on Egypt Ave. Non-conforming lot area width and lot frontage. A special permit finding under MGL 40A, Section 6 was approved by the Scituate Zoning Board of Appeals and filed on July 24, 2019 with the town clerk. The proposed accessory dwelling will meet the rear yard setback of 20 feet for the residential R3 district. It meets the front yard setback of 30 feet for Bradford Ave. It will be set back an additional 2 feet from the existing house from Egypt Ave. The accessory dwelling will be less than 35 feet tall. 6, the exterior appearance of the accessory dwelling is in keeping with the appearance of the primary dwelling, except the accessory dwelling will be 2 stories. 7, the plot plan for 15 Egypt Ave shows a gravel parking area for 2 vehicles, 21 by 24 feet, for the accessory dwelling off of Bradford Ave, southwest of the accessory dwelling, and a 21-foot by 24-foot gravel driveway off of Egypt Ave for the primary dwelling. This appears adequate to provide 2 parking spaces for the accessory dwelling and parking for the primary dwelling. Ample parking appears to be provided. 8, the owner has submitted a signed notarized statement that she will reside at 50 Egypt Ave. 9, the accessory dwelling will be serviced by an existing town water, municipal sewer, and private waste disposal. DPW requirements for water and sewer connections will be met. 10, the application meets the standards of the Scituate zoning bylaw for an accessory dwelling special permit.
All right, is there a second on the findings of fact?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Right.
You can finish reading.
Again?
Aye.
All right,
My breath, yeah.
hey, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I move to approve the special permit for an accessory dwelling at 15 Egypt Avenue with the following conditions, in addition to the standard conditions for accessory dwellings approved by the planning board after a public hearing on 12/17/15. 1, except for any changes necessary to meet these conditions, any construction shall substantially conform to plot plan for 15 Egypt Avenue, Scituate, Mass., stamped by Joseph E. Hannon, P.E., dated 2/16/19, with stamp date of 9/25/19, and architectural plans by Designs by Marshall LLC consisting of 9 sheets, including cover, D1.1 demo plans, A0.1 legend, A1.1 basement and first floor, A1.2 second floor and roof, A2.1 exterior elevations, A2.2 exterior elevation and section, A3.1 foundation plan, A3.2 framing plans. 2, the number of bedrooms in the accessory dwelling is limited to 1 in the location and size indicated on the floor plan submitted with the application. The number of bedrooms in the primary house is limited to 2. 3, no further expansion of the accessory dwelling floor area is allowed without further review by the planning board. 4, upon occupancy of the accessory dwelling, the applicant shall provide a notarized affidavit that they are living in one of the dwelling units. A yearly certification, that the owner occupies one of the dwelling units must be provided by March 1 yearly. 5, all requirements of the Board of Health, Building Department, Department of Public Works, Fire Department, and other town agencies must be met prior to occupancy of the accessory dwelling. 6, the accessory dwelling shall conform to all applicable standards in the building, plumbing, electrical, mechanical, fire, and health codes and bylaws. 7, water connections must meet all requirements of the DPW Water Division for the accessory dwelling. 8, sewer connections must meet all requirements of the DPW Sewer Division for the accessory dwelling. 9, any lighting installed shall be down lighting, not to shed light on abutting properties. 10, construction work shall not begin prior to 7 a.m. weekdays and 8 a.m. on Saturdays, and shall cease no later than 7 p.m. or sunset, whichever is earlier. No construction shall take place on Sundays or legal federal holidays. Construction includes idling of vehicles, delivery of materials to the site, and all other construction activities. 11, if there is an increase in impervious area of 25% or more, then a stormwater permit shall be needed according to Town of Scituate stormwater requirements. 12, runoff from the proposed accessory dwelling shall not be increased from the property. 13, erosion and sedimentation control devices shall be installed to prevent any erosion or sedimentation from leaving the site during construction. Silk sock shall be used. Do we need to say anything about conservation?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
if they're required to get a permit from conservation, that's on them. It doesn't give,
Has nothing to
it
do with
has
us.
nothing to do with us.
All right, I'll entertain a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
After the decision's filed, there's a 20-day appeal period.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, do we need any of these? Do you want any of these?
No, we have a copy in the file, so we don't need it.
All right, is anybody here from Greenfield Lane?
You were notified the first time.
Yes, we are ready.
All right, for the record, Rob Guglielmo from Morse Engineering, the surveyor. Formation under Chapter 81L, A&R for 114 Greenfield Lane. It is currently home to 114 Greenfield Lane and another existing building, 114R Greenfield Lane. 114 Greenfield Lane was constructed in 1750 for the town assessor's record. 114R was constructed in 1940 for the town assessor's records, which was prior to adoption of the control law. In the 1950s. We are dividing these two lots into separate lots, and since it's pre-existing to adoption of subdivision control law,
Karen?
It's an 81L plan. You're basically required to endorse it. The two buildings, I think there's sufficient information that was presented to show that both houses were existing prior to the adoption of zoning in Scituate.
Okay, all right.
Easy peasy.
Ben, would you do the honors?
I move to endorse.
Wait. Is this wrong one?
Oh, I have. I move to endorse as approval under the subdivision control law not required a plan of land in Scituate, Massachusetts showing a division of parcel 54-3-1, 114 Greenfield Lane prepared by Morse Engineering Company Incorporated from Ray E. Jr. and Mary Jane Sylvester dated September 27th, 2019, as the division is not a subdivision because two or more buildings were standing on the property prior to the date the subdivision control law went into effect in Scituate, August 3rd, 1947, and one of such buildings remains standing on each of the proposed lots. Assessor's data shows the existing dwelling at 114 Greenfield Lane was constructed in 1750, and the existing dwelling known as 114R Greenfield Lane was constructed in 1940. In addition, the following note shall be added to the plan. Planning board endorsement of this plan is not a determination as to conformance with zoning regulations.
Is there a second for discussion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Done. Do we have Brockton Ave here? Yep.
Not
Well,
yet.
a little ahead of schedule.
Wait, schedule.
So we could do other things first.
All right, we can
and
do
then-
accounting.
Okay. Accounting. I move to approve the requisition of $1,950 to Merrill Corporation for peer review services for 443-461 Chief Justice Cushie Highway, for $18.91 to WB Mason for office supplies, for $3,000 to Merrill Corporation for Deer Common peer review, for $103.95 to Karen Joseph for mileage reimbursement, for $450 to Merrill Corporation for peer review of 207 Old Oaken Bucket Road, for $2,250 to Merrill Corporation for peer review of Benjamin Studley Farm, for $1,200 to Merrill Corporation for peer review of Curtis Estates, for $19.74 to Amazon for office supplies, for $900 to Dodson and Plinker Inc. for technical services for zoning maps, for $96.48 to Gatehouse Media for legal ad for 15 Egypt Ave, for $2,253 to Chester Consulting Services, LLC, for a peer review of the residential compound at Zero Rear Country Way, 483 Country Way rear, and for $4,503.10 to Horseway Witten for peer review services for Seaside and Scituate, for $2,135.30 to Horseway Witten for peer review services at Seaside and Scituate.
Is there a second?
That's a lot.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A lot of bills.
A lot of bills. I move to approve the meeting minutes for September 26, 2019.
Is there a second?
Second.
Liaison reports.
Voted.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, liaison reports. I went to CPC the other night. They're closing, they hope, on Lawson Green, November 22nd. They hope to have a general, or start with a groundbreaking ceremony on or about the 1st of December. And they hope to finish the project. This is the project behind Central Park, the 30 units. It's a 11 to 12 month construction, and they hope to be finished by November of 2020. Local people get preference, and next summer they'll work with the Housing Authority, and unfortunately demand will outstrip the reality. There'll be a housing lottery in August/September of 2020, and the price has already gone up 8%, but fortunately we were told that the contingency is able to absorb most of that. All right, the next item was the Maxwell Trust. That's in progress to try to finally come to a deed that's clear title, and they hope to have that by winter. It's almost done. The dog park is open and people love it, so that's pretty much what's going on. The two things that came in for the April town meeting is the Union Mission Chapel. I don't know if you're all familiar with where that is. Up there on Old Oaken Bucket Road, was built in 1885. The heating system is on its last legs, and the concern was CPC does not pay for maintenance. However, in this particular instance, this is a non-denominational group. It's not Unitarian, it's not anything. This is a historic building, and the goal of CPC is to preserve historic buildings. And unless the heating system is revamped, replaced, this historic building could be lost because of lack of heat. So I believe they will be going forward to try and get this through town meeting. The next item is the Mordecai Lincoln property on Mordecai Lincoln Road. There is, as you come off of Country Way and you go over the little bridge, the antique store barn is on the left, and you go up a driveway, and there's a house, and then there's another house behind it, and Abraham Lincoln's great-great-great-great-grandfather lived there. It's just under 5 acres of land. I have walked it. It is absolutely stunning, with access out to the Gulf River, and it's something, it can be had for $900,000. for that entire property, which is really, would be a jewel in the crown. It is one of the last historic pieces in this town.
Who owns it now?
The Lads
Oh,
own it.
yeah.
And they have approached the town, they want to sell it to the town, and CPC would really like to purchase this property. So that will be coming forward in the April town meeting.
That's great too, because it's very close to North Situate, so to have
Yes.
a walkable open space
Yes.
right there would be awesome for
Right.
North Situate.
But it also would deal with recreation.
Well, sure.
They put in it for kayaks and what have you. Also, it could be used, the field, whatever, for events, tents, you name it. It would be absolutely phenomenal. Plus, the first house, not the barn, but the first house could have the groundskeeper, someone to keep track of the property, rent it, and then rent out the other. The potential there is limitless. So we hope that we will be able to purchase that property. And I think that's all I've been up to lately.
I haven't been anywhere.
I attended, Ann was there, I attended the last Selectmen's meeting, and there was a very heated discussion as the Shellfish Advisory Committee presented their rules and regs to the Selectmen. There's a lot of back and forth right now between the shellfish folks, the waterways, and the Selectmen, and I don't think we're going to see an adoption of the current rules and regs anytime soon. There's a lot of things that the Waterways Committee and the Selectmen want to kind of work out in further detail, particularly how the town might recoup their investment or their expense in administering the shellfish grants. And then also there's some philosophical questions about the right to inheritance and also transfer of title once you have a grant. You know, could you sell, or not sell, but transfer your rights to that parcel to the next person, or does it go back to the town? And there's a lot of arguments on both sides for and against. So I think that will be back within the next month or so after they kind of respond to some of the comments. And there also was a couple Brad, Ann, and I also presented an update of the master plan to the Selectmen, and kind of just went through where we are in the process. There wasn't any real substantive comments or concerns on that front. I will note on the master plan, our next public workshop is on the 22nd of October, and it's the first topic workshop of 3, and the topic this time is on resiliency. But the way the consultant is doing this is it's a very kind of broad-based look at the topic of resiliency, so we will be covering all of the bases of the master plan, but just with the overarching, within the overarching view of resiliency and what that means for the town. So everyone reach out to your network, because the more people we get, the better data we'll have to really come up with a living document that will work for us going forward. Trying to think
And
what
say where it's going to be.
At the Gates
Oh,
cafeteria. Okay. The other item at that Selectmen's meeting, Brad Washburn and Sue DePisa gave an update to the Board of Selectmen on economic development and what they were doing, et cetera, and a comment was made, a suggestion, if you will, from Tony Vignani, that economic development look into or come up with suggestions of what to do with the Gates Middle School. So, there you go. It was an interesting meeting that went until 11:45.
What does Mr. Vignani think EDC is going to have to say about that, since it's a zoning issue?
Well, I have no idea, but that's what's what. All right, our next item is on at 7:45, and they're not here yet? Do we need?
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
What time is that meeting?
6:30.
So I learned a lot about oysters watching that meeting.
Good, I mean,
So the issue is that we're not as, we're too far out into the ocean. I couldn't really understand what Bobby Thorndike was talking about, the velocity zone and.
It is a challenging, it would be a challenging place to cultivate oysters and hard-shell clams and things of that nature. I mean, that's why this first pass is it's really a trial. It's a pilot program, and to really see what's going to happen. And anyone investing in
No one's here?
starting a business will be a big risk.
Yeah, I didn't realize how active Prince Harbor is. I haven't been out there in 1,000 years to look in, but apparently it's quite busy out there now.
In the summer,
Yeah,
but did you give him a date?
kind of forgot that.
I think so.
not so much where they're talking about.
And I forgot about the creek that ran through there as well, so that was one of
Yeah.
the things that was, I forgot about that.
Isn't there a problem or whatever with Cohasset in terms of accessibility
That will be one of the big
issues?
bridges to cross. I mean, that will be up to the challenge for anyone that's writing a business plan is how they access it. Because, of course, you can go from Scituate Harbor, but that's a long haul, and there's
Yeah,
a
it's
lot
a
of
long
weather
ride up there.
coming, going through that east-facing part of the coast. So, ideally, you would access the area from Cohasset, but
And from Popper Ave?
I mean, wherever. But the way the regs are written right now, that only Scituate residents can apply for grants. So there's a little bit of town politics going on too, because I think Cohasset would like to almost be in on this, but there's going to be some give and take, I think.
And pushback.
Right.
It's always exciting.
What do other towns do in regards to transferring that right? Like what does Duxbury do? Don't they have that?
Almost all towns except one that have shellfish grants allow transfer.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Does
kind
it
of.
have to be approved by the town, the transfer?
It does. That was the way it's written in the regulations, and it's copied from the department. It's copied from Mass General laws, the way the state has it written, which is that the Board of Selectmen ultimately have the authority over the transfer. I would think of it as it's kind of similar to the way a liquor license would work.
Yeah. Yep. That would make sense.
I could update you on a few things.
Okay.
So one of the members on the design review committee is not going to, her term expires in November and she's not going to be re-upping. So what the board like to do about that? Would you like me to put an ad in the paper, or how would put an ad on the website, or how do you want to address filling the opening?
How did we get it the last time? We just that new man was just.
Okay.
But I think in previous times, there has been an ad in the paper.
Right.
I think probably a notice to the Mariner that this is, that there is a position available if anyone would be interested with a background in architecture. I hope. Also to, I received an email from Lorraine Devon. The selectmen are putting together a review of the master plan and
Not the charter.
the charter rather, and the charter, and they're looking for somebody from planning to be on this committee.
When's that?
I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll find someone to be on it.
Well, it has to be
One of us.
one of us. And I'm going to pass on that one.
I'm interested. Let me see what the doc has to say,
Okay.
if I can.
Would you be
I
in?
might do it, yeah.
Actually, we were thinking that we were hoping that it would be you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We were really hoping.
I know, you kept looking at me.
Well,
Put her on the spot.
I'll put you on the spot.
Okay.
All right. And Mr. Colbert is not here for his quarter of
Mr. Mirabito or somebody from his office will be here, but, I mean, let me,
Why don't you give us the salient facts? Is there anything else that you need to tell us about?
I was gonna update you on a few more things.
Okay, great. I'm not excited about leaving in the wind.
We are working on the new zoning map, so, I mean, we have a draft, and we're going to be getting a hard copy and reviewing that next week, so hopefully we can actually go to print very soon for the new zoning map. We are working on some language changes for the sign bylaw, and so we may have to, out of an abundance of caution, revote the report to town meeting.
Excuse me?
Revote the report.
Yes, I
Town-
think that we
town
will.
meeting as an abundance of caution after we get the final language, but that is being, some minor changes are being made. We went to the advisory committee last week, and they kind of had some issues between A and C, some of the same things that the planning board, but I don't think they voted.
No, they did not.
On that, so,
They want us to come back again.
no, I was told all the meetings are stopped.
Oh,
They're all done.
well, okay.
I mean, except for whenever they vote for, but we'll be getting them some revised language before the end of next week.
Have you heard from town council concerning this?
We had a conference call with town council the other day. She was going to work on it the other afternoon, and I am unaware if the comments have come back yet. So I just, but she did, out of an abundance of caution, say we probably should revote the report.
Okay.
We still have numerous, accessory dwellings, or a lot of them are coming in, a lot of stormwater permits. So that's the same old. We're working on trying to come up with a summary sheet of where we are with the fees, so that we can talk about having a public hearing to change the fee schedule. We are working on stormwater regulations as well, and have to call a meeting probably after town meeting with regards to the stormwater working group, and perhaps we can start getting that, so to a public hearing, maybe beginning of next year. So we're busy. Seaside at Scituate's, undergoing construction. They've moved into phase 2, doing some work there, and they have decided that they're not going to do the whole of they're not gonna grub it, the whole phase 2 area right now, because they know they can't meet the requirement that the board said, that they need to have it stabilized. So they're gonna basically do about half of phase 2 and then just move into it, in the springtime, which I think is a very responsible call on their part. They'll be before the board next time for an informal discussion about some other matters. But we remain very busy with a lot of, applications coming in.
Have you heard anything further from the Board of Health concerning 90 Ann Vinyl?
They approved it, but I don't know if I don't know if they've got the final approval. I did sit down with Joan the other day, and she got our letter, and she wanted to put in something in her letter about the meadow grass on top of the system as well. So it reflected what the planning board, approved.
Okay.
So that's it. Septic system has not been started yet.
No, every time I drive by there, nothing has changed. Nothing. Okay.
So that's where we are with that.
All right. Anything else, Karen?
Nope, I mean, if you want me to do Brockton Ave, I can do
Let's do Brockton Ave.
Brockton Ave. I just need to get the file.
This is
Get your feet up in the microwave.
I have one of those.
All right, so Brockton Ave is, there's some land court lots that have gone to land court. There's a dwelling, existing dwelling at 43, existing dwelling at 41. Then the two lots in back of those, lot 1012 and 1011, the applicant proposes to divide, that's currently one lot. He would like to divide those into the two lots shown and join them to the house lots, so that the house lots will have greater lot area. So it's merely just a change in lot line, which does not affect the frontage of each of the lots.
Okay,
Okay,
all right. So,
they don't want to.
it's no big deal.
No,
All right.
this is what they want to do, and so it's, they've had some discussions already and been to the land court, I believe, so.
I think that he's coming.
Perfect.
Well, he can corroborate what Karen already told us.
He's walking right in. Not falling, but.
Hi.
Good evening.
I kind of already gave them a quick summary.
Oh,
of
good.
what this is, so you can just quickly elaborate it and, you know,
Okay, so
Would you identify yourself?
Jason Scott, I work for Ross Engineering. We had a parcel on Brockton Ave that is to be subdivided. It was land court. We did a land court survey and submitted our plan to the land court, in which they have approved. And they're going to create two non-buildable lots, and they're to be combined with existing lots on Otis Road, owned by Mr. Colbert. That's about it.
It's your turn. Any discussion from the board on this?
No.
No.
I move to endorse, oh, can I go? I move to endorse as approval under the subdivision control law not required a plan of land in the town of Scituate, Scituate, Massachusetts, Brockton Ave, being division of lot 227-3302-A, sheet 1, prepared by Ross Engineering Company Incorporated for Vincent Colbert, dated September 18th, 2019, as a division of the tract of land shown on the accompanying plan is not a subdivision because it shows a proposed conveyance or change in a lot line which does not alter the existing frontage as required under the Scituate zoning bylaw. In addition, the following note shall be added to the plan. Planning board endorsement of this plan is not a determination as to conformance with zoning regulations.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
maybe we could just pause while we sign the stuff and then,
All
you
right,
know.
I move that we take a 10-minute
And then
break.
closer to 8 o'clock, you know, continue the other public hearing.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, welcome back. This is a notice of a public hearing. In accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 40A, Sections 9 and 11, and the zoning bylaw, Section 720, common driveways, the planning board will conduct a continued public hearing on Thursday, October 10th, 2019, at 8 p.m. in the Selectmen's hearing room, Town Hall, 600 Chief Justice Cushing Highway, Scituate. The subject of the hearing is an application for a common driveway special permit and stormwater permit submitted by applicant David McCready and owners 7H Trust for property located at 443 to 461 Chief Justice Cushing Highway regarding the construction of 3 common driveways of approximately 211 feet, 243 feet, and 339 feet, proposed to service 8 lots, each with 2 family dwellings. Property shown on Assessor's Map 47-2-26A to 26J. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend this hearing. Plans are available for review during normal business hours at the Planning Board Office, Town Hall. I move to accept the applicant's request to continue the public hearing for the common driveway special permit and stormwater for 443 to 461 Chief Justice Cushing Highway until November 14th, 2019 at 8:00 p.m. and to continue the time for action for filing with the town clerk until November 22nd, 2019. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So the reason why they continued is they got the engineer comments, they knew that they didn't have the grave easement on it, and, you know,
They weren't ready.